Welcome to Module F, problem number 11. Before we can answer questions A through E, we need to create the table below. First thing we need to do is create the cumulative probabilities. So all that we do is take the fact that the probability of 21 newspapers for the demand is 25%. So from 1 to 25, you would have 21 newspapers. So if the number was 17, it'd be 21 newspapers. The number was 8, it'd be 21 newspapers. These are random numbers, by the way. Then we add the 15% on top of that. So you can see the random number interval is from 26 to 40. Then we add another 10%, so from 41 to 50. Another 20% from 51 to 70. And then we have 30% to give us our 100%, so from 71 to 100. These are for the random numbers, which you're going to see in a moment. So following the table below, the papers ordered for day number 1 is 22. The random number is 37. So 37 falls in the range or the class width of 26 to 40. So random number of 37 is the demand of 22. With a demand of 22, and we sell these newspapers for 50 cents each. So obviously this example is very dated. So in order to get the calculation for the first in day number 1, so day 1 revenue is simply, you either take, in this case, the papers ordered and the demand is the same. So, but you take the lower of the two. So if there's, and you'll see an example where there's a day where they're not the same. So in this case, you're going to take 22 times 50 cents to wind up with $11. The cost is, in this case, so the cost is you bought, so this is the orders. So newspapers ordered 22 newspapers at 20 cents each, $4.40. There is no goodwill because the demand equals the orders. Only time you'll have goodwill costs is when demand exceeds the orders. And so for the profit, in this case, you will take the $11 minus the $4.40 minus the 0, and you wind up with $6.60. Now, it uses the naive method. So that means that the demand for day 1 becomes the forecast for day 2, or the orders for day 2. So this demand here, this demand ties in with chapter number 4. This demand goes to here. The random number for day number 2 is 19, and 19 falls in the category of 21 newspapers demanded because it's between 1 and 25. So be careful you don't take the 19 as the demand, because the demand has to be either 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Those are only 5 possibilities. You cannot have a demand of less than 21 or more than 25. So in this case, the demand is 21. So you sell 21 newspapers because you have 22 sitting in front of you, but only 21 customers come to buy a newspaper. So you multiply that, like I said, by the lower of the demand or papers available, which is the same as papers ordered. So you get $10.50. You still order 22 newspapers. You don't get to send any in the back. It costs you $4.40. And every customer who came to your newspaper stand was able to be satisfied in the fact that there were enough newspapers for everybody. So of course, your profit would go down to $6.10 from the $6.60 because you failed to sell that extra newspaper. You had to just throw it away. Day number 3, the 21 demand from day 2 becomes the papers ordered for day number 3. The demand in day number 3 is a random number of 52. 52 goes into the category 51 to 70. So that would read as 24 newspapers. So you ordered 21, you have 21 sitting in front of you, but 24 people come to buy a newspaper. You only have 21 newspapers to sell. You would have liked to have sold more, but you didn't have them. You only ordered 21 newspapers, so 21 times 20 cents is $4.20. You also need to factor in, and accountants do not do this, but we are not accountants, we are supply chain people. We recognize that there is a 10-cent goodwill for every customer who comes to your newspaper stand and is unsatisfied. In other words, they cannot buy a newspaper. So you have 24 minus 21 when demand exceeds supply, and 10 cents each for 30 cents. So that day, we show a profit of $6. An accounting person does not consider the goodwill column. They would have showed a profit of $6.30. So accounting underestimates the cost of goodwill because they do not factor it in any of their calculations. So the demand for the previous day was 24. So we order 24 for day 4. Random number is 8, which is the demand of 21. Revenue is the lower of the two, 21 times 50 cents. But we ordered 24 newspapers, so 24 times 20 cents is $4.80. In fact, we had a surplus of 3 newspapers because we have 24 as our supply and 21 as our demand. So we do not have any goodwill, but our profits went down because we ordered too many newspapers. In day number 5, the 21 from day number 4 goes down to the supply for day number 25, which is supply is papers ordered. The random numbers are 22, which falls in the category of 1 to 25. So the demand is 21. Things are looking good because we have 21 newspapers available and we have 21 customers. And in this case, the revenue is $10.50. The cost is $4.20, and there's no lost sales. So we have $6.30 is our net profit. Finally, on day 6, we ordered 21 newspapers. Random number shows up to be 61, which is in the category 51 to 70. So 24 people want to buy a newspaper that day. We can only sell 21 at 50 cents each for $10.50. The cost of 21 newspapers is $4.20. The goodwill is the fact that 24 customers came up to our newspaper stand to buy a paper. We only had a supply of 21, and in this particular case, we only made a profit of $6. Now, to answer the questions in part A, day number 3, the demand is 24. We could have answered this before, but we're doing it all at the end. So the demand is 24 because it had a random number of 52, which falls in the category 51 to 70. The total profit, if you're at a total this column here, they didn't do it in the solution, but this is $36.70 as the total for all of these 6 days. Lost goodwill on day 6. So this is the answer for C. This is the answer for B. And this is the answer for A, if that makes things a little bit more clear. The profit on day 2. This is the answer for D. And the newspapers ordered for day number 5. This is the answer for E. So I hope you found that helpful. There is a function in Excel that will help a little bit with this, but all it does is calculate the demand based on the random number. So I'm not going to create a video for that at this point. If you want one, let me know and I'll do my best to add it. Thank you.